In this video, I'm gonna be hyper buffing Kaido and checking out his DPS and passives. So let's take a look at his passives. The first one is Draconic Focus. Placement behavior. When placed, this unit appears on the track on the first enemy, immune to harm. If this unit has no attack target, it repositions to the next first enemy. So he, unlike other units, he doesn't have a range. You place him down and he will appear on the track like a summon, and he attacks on the track directly. Combat effects. When this unit applies a debuff or status, inflict wanted on that enemy. Then the second passive, the strongest creature. For each enemy hit by an attack, buff damage by 5% up to 100. This buff resets every other attack when attacking a wanted enemy. Inflict wanted on all enemies in range. So he does get a few extra percent damage from that. Then the third passive, Dragon King. Each consecutive attack on the same enemy buffs damage by 5%. At 50% or higher from this buff, attacks apply 50% slow for 10 seconds. So he basically builds up infinitely every time he attacks. His damage will go up by 5%. So for a boss, he can be a real boss slayer. Then is Memoria. The first passive, Leader of Beasts. Buff damage from summons by 40%. And since he places himself on the track as a summon, he buffs himself for 40% raw extra damage. So that's really good. Then the second passive, Draconic Might. The first attack this unit lands on an enemy deals 100 more damage. Pretty decent for crowd controlling. Then the third one, Pressure of the Strong. Enemies within 30 range of this unit are slowed by 50%. So he looks like he's a pretty good unit. We're gonna go into Sandbox and see how good he actually is on a boss. I'm also bringing Skull King, Urza, Isdef, and Fruit Eater to buff him to his max potential DPS to see how much he actually does. Before I continue on with the video, make sure to like and subscribe and to join my Discord down in the description, because I'm hosting free giveaways, and when we reach 200 members, I will be giving away the Godly Ascension bundle free worth 10,000 Robux. Join the Discord so you don't miss out. Alright, so in game, let's set the money to max. Place him down. See how much damage he does per upgrade. So on placement he does around 400k. Maybe it increases once you spawn enemies. Let's enable the wave. Alright, so he puts himself down and he's already buffing himself. So let's skip a few waves. So on placement, he pretty much does around 150k. Which is pretty good. And when maxed out, he is dealing around 440k DPS. Then you also have his sort of arsenal, Draconic Focus. You can choose between 4 presets. The first one is Stomp. Your attacks will do 100 more damage. Second one is Spin. Attacks inflict rupture and bleed for 40% damage of this unit over 8 seconds. So if you were to do a tournament or any other game mode where there's regen or revitalize, you would only have to bring him to cancel any healing, and he's still doing really good damage, so that is actually really good. Then Lightning. Attacks apply stun for 2 seconds, so he can also be a pretty good crowd control with stunning and slowing because of his Memoria and unit passive. And then Laser. Attacks apply burn for 30% of this unit's damage over 8 seconds. I don't think this one is too good because you're just better off doing Stomp, but it could be good when you are trying to have burn stacking DOT, such with Ibana or something else, but don't think you're going to be using that one too much. It's probably mainly these 3. right now we're going to keep it on Stomp to see how much damage he can do on the boss. So let's disable the waves and spawn in a Vegeta. Speed multiplier 0. Custom spawn and put it down right there. Alright. We just gotta wait for I may just put it on bosses so he walks towards there. Alright. So he should be attacking the boss any second now. Yeah, okay. So in the beginning, he's doing around 600, 700, 1 million, 1.3 million damage. So averagely it's probably going to be around 800k at the beginning. But then because of his passives, he is going to build up. So let's just give it a little bit more time. It's already doing 1.5 sometimes. 1.4 peak. By 2, 3, 5. Right. Let's bring in Skelking. Get the extra 60% damage. Alright. So Skelking is doing around more than 2 million already. And as you can see, his damage multiplier is going up. This time he does a consecutive attack. And it resets every other, so it just goes up 10 and then drops back down. Right. Let's play. Is that okay? Is that on Skelking now? Okay, now it's on Kaido. Let's get the 40% back on Skelking. Alright. And with affection, he's doing around peak 2.7. Then let's get Urza in and Fruit Eater. With Fruit Eater, he's already peaking at 3.2 million DPS. And then after having the requip, we can check his damage, and we could also go and switch between his presets to see how much of a difference it actually is. Almost there. Alright. So after Is Death, Skelking, Urza and Fruit Eater buff, he is peaking at around 4.5 million DPS. Which, considering his skill set, I think is pretty good. And then let's cycle through the others. So Spin with the Bleed and the Rupture. He is dealing around 3.2 million peak estimated DPS. Then on Lightning, it's not going to do much since it just applies a stun. So it's peaking at around 2.5. 3 mil. And then last one, Laser, which I don't think makes any sense. Because on Spin you get Rupture and Bleed for 40%. Here just get burned for 30. So the only reason to run Laser really is only when you're running a burn DOT team. Right, but then Laser does around, see how I can get 2.8 ish. So Stomp definitely is the best one. Because it peaked at around 4.5 million DPS. 4.6. Which for a single unit is pretty good. Alright, then let's bring in Luffy to give him an extra buff of 50%. See how much he can do. Then, so with Luffy, he goes up to 7.6 million estimated DPS, which is quite a big difference, but you're probably most of the time gonna run them together either way, unless you're doing elemental restriction game modes. But on his max DPS, 7.5 peak, pretty good. So that's pretty much it. I hope you guys like this video. If you want any more unit showcases, let me know down in the description, and then have a good one.